Hello, my name is Nordin Malango, and in this presentation, I want to talk about the ethical and the privacy implications on a personalized product recommendation and as well as pricing optimization using machine learning project. I happen to be a data scientist for one of the banks here in Malawi, so I'm going to look at a number of things in this particular presentation, which will include the task analysis. So, in a nutshell, our problem here is that the e-commerce business struggle to provide personalized product recommendation as well as optimize pricing to increase their revenue as well as the profit. So the key task in our project is to develop a machine learning model, which is going to provide the personalized product recommendation as well as pricing optimizations. So in general, in terms of task analysis, insight that we're going to get is simply the task flow by providing a user-friendly interface for inputting user data as well as displaying recommendations. And this will in return will improve the user's experience by providing clear explanation of how the model actually works and why the specific recommendations are actually being made. In terms of consideration, in terms of user experience design, user interactions. So users input their preference, and the system will be able to generate personalized product recommendations. And there are a number of key considerations that we need to take into consideration when we want to design to have a good user experience. When the user input, the system will collect user data, including past purchases, browsing history, as well as search queries to generate personalized recommendations. And feedback loops are provided for users as well to rate the recommendation and improve future recommendations. And I also have to have transparency. The system provide a clear explanation of how the model actually works, the data used to generate the recommendations, as well as why specific recommendations are being made. Another thing that we're going to do also is to be able to communicate the uncertainties. So the system also communicates the level of confidence in the recommendations as well as potential biases that the data actually represents. We have a couple number of privacy considerations that we're going to take into considerations, particularly with what data actually the system collects. That includes personal information as well as browsing history and purchase history. So the applicable law, privacy laws that you have is the GDPR, the CCPA, and other privacy laws applicable to the region where our system is going to be deployed. The general consensus is to deploy it here in Malawi, so we're going to abide by the Malawian laws. But at the end of the day, we're going to expand and see how we may map, we may actually abide by different privacy laws that are there. Obligations. So we are going to also need to obtain user consent for data collection as well as ensure that the security of collected data and provide users with the ability to control their data. So for those that do opt out of the recommendations and for the use of the data themselves, we're going to have that kind of obligation as well. In terms of ethical considerations, so in terms of there are actually potential sources of bias in our system. One may be user data may contain inherent biases such as gender or racial biases that may affect the recommendation being made by the model. So we may need to meet some ethical AI goals. One, in terms of fairness. So the system is designed to avoid unfair bias to provide personalized recommendation based on user preferences. One is also look at the accountability. The system looks at all user interactions and recommendation made, allowing for transparency as well as accountability. And in terms of transparency, the system provides a clear explanation of how the model works, how the recommendations are generated, and how specific recommendations are actually being made. So, in a nutshell, we're going to we have looked at the task analysis, the user experience design, the kind of consideration in terms of the privacy, as well as the ethical considerations. Thank you very much for listening.